In case anyone is wondering, yes, I'm still on the carnivore diet. I just haven't come on and done an update in quite some time, mostly because we've been traveling a lot. And then I got COVID for the second time. So it just got put on the back burner. What can I say? If you are interested, though, in where things stand, I am going to walk through where I am at this point in the game because it has been over 4 months. I think getting close to 4.5 months. If you haven't seen previous posts on this, I've been using carnivore as an elimination diet to get to baseline and have a clean slate to work off of. I definitely am feeling really positive about the diet because I saw um, positive results really early on. Um, got a ton of energy. Carnivore is the only diet that I had tried in the last year that had made any difference in my joint pain and inflammation post COVID in 2021. I got back in the gym, lifting weights, no issues there, feeling super energized and really good in the gym. I also had some really odd symptoms post COVID last year, which was dizzy spells and then problems with my vision. And I, boy, I'd had that from August 2021 and still had it early on, even with the carnivore diet. But then at some point in the last 4.5 months, it went away. And I didn't even realize it had gone away until it came back. I'll explain that. I lost 8 pounds, but then that was it. I just could not get past the 8 pound marker. But the positive is that my gut health has been so improved. I can't even begin to tell you. It's funny. We assume that we eat and then we feel bloated and then we'll be gassy. And some people have GERD, or maybe you've got, bowel movement dysregulation in different ways. And you sort of get in life, I think, to a place where you think that that's just normal, right? You eat and then that's what happens. And certainly for me, that's how I was. I just thought that was a part of life and was very used to it being that way. But when I started eating carnivore, once I got past that first month, that completely went away. And I know eating meat and having a better gut health situation seems maybe counterintuitive, but boy, it is so wonderful when you make that transition and have that experience of just better gut health overall. Like it's a real game changer for your life. Um, okay, here's the downsides or the areas of frustration for me with carnivore. I have hit a wall with weight loss. And, you know, that can be really difficult when you're going to the gym and you're working out hard and you're eating clean with the carnivore diet and you feel like this should be happening, right? At some point. And I've got a partner who's doing the same diet, losing a ton of weight, looks great, and he's cheating and not going to the gym nearly as much as I am. And here I am being strict and just working my butt off, and I'm just not seeing the same weight loss results. Now, I did a little research on this because I was kind of at my limit with not seeing success on this front. But it seems like women of a certain age, women in menopause have this issue sometimes, and that the only way around it is to go through it and stick with it and do it longer, and eventually it will hit. So the other thing for me that has been a little frustration is, so along with the diet, I got rid of all of my pharmaceutical medications that I was taking and all of my supplements, and there were a lot of supplements in my life. But I wanted to be able to, if I took something, know, is it a positive? Is it a negative response? And I'm only taking that one thing, so I really can differentiate if it's something I should keep with. So I stopped taking, and it's part of that spironolactone, which I had taken for hormonal acne. And of course, then I had a flare up, but it just kept sticking and not going away. And it was only around my mouth, underneath my nose, around my lips, and then on my chin. So I did a little homework, and generally in that area, it's either hormones or dairy. So I have hormone imbalance with menopause, and I have had dairy in my life. And so I know it's one of those two things. It's trying to figure out which one. But my Viome test originally didn't show an issue with dairy. So maybe it's that, maybe it's not, but something to look at. So the other area that's sort of been enlightening for me on this diet is, I had been doing a bunch of travel. One of them, the trips was to Hawaii. And we were kind of traveling all over, came back. I got COVID. And some of the stuff that I got rid of, right? So the fatigue, the joint pain, the dizzy spells, which I had forgotten that I had gotten rid of. My cardiovascular struggles in the gym, I wasn't having that problem anymore. When I got COVID again the second time, about a week after, all of those symptoms came back. So some of the questions that I had about some of those symptoms, was it COVID or was it menopause? Does long haul COVID, is that even a thing? Does it exist? I think this second round of COVID and the fact that I got rid of a lot of those things with Carnivore, got COVID again, and then boom, a lot of those symptoms all of a sudden came back, seems to indicate that there is a connection and that it leans towards long hauler COVID. That being said, another area of enlightenment for me has been the fact that I have a sugar addiction. And this really reared its head when I went to Hawaii, and I'm hanging with friends and I'm trying to enjoy my vacation and not be super strict with the diet. Like, I want to be able to go out to dinner and not be difficult. I love pina coladas. I had a couple of those while I'm in Hawaii. I mean, how do you not? I had a couple glasses of wine. I had chocolate covered macadamia nuts. We went out for like ice cream after one of our dinners. That was like, I think I added fruit back in at that point too. That was another area where I was adding some sugar back into my diet. So I did all of that. And then I came back from that trip, and it was like the craving for sugar and to have it every day. Like, it was like an abusive relationship realization. Like, I just keep going back to something that's hurting me, which is crazy. And I'm like, okay, I can beat myself up and say, oh, what's your problem? Why can't you just give it up? Like, be stronger. Like, I can take that tact with myself, or I can be more positive about it and just say, okay, how do I get around this? I need to reaffirm why I'm doing this diet. Why? I want to live a long, healthy, active life. And I've got to key into the why behind this so that I automatically am posed to make better choices. So that's where we're at now at this point in the journey. It's funny. Every time I look at the morning mocha, the donut, the cheese tray, the glass of wine, all of those things that are hurting me and will eventually kill me. And I just want that moment of sense pleasure. But that sugar is a drug. And it is definitely an area that I have got to learn to master and quit. Because when I stay focused on this diet, I feel so much better. It's such a clear delineation between when I eat strict carnivore and when I start to waver a little bit. So I'm cutting a lot of the dairy for right now. No cottage cheese, no yogurt, um, limiting my cheese significantly. But I still am doing butter and a little bit of cream with some stuff. Um, so I may need to cut it out completely to be symptom free, but I'm just going to cut way back and just see what the impact is there, just one step at a time. Now, hot flashes, weight loss, and the hormonal acne. I'm also starting to realize that I need to do a round of blood work, and I'm working with my doctor, and we're talking about hormone replacement therapy to see if I can get myself back in balance. And that, I'll be honest, is really tough for me because I was hoping this diet would be the sole answer to this. But I do think that menopause is something that I'm going to have to address with some help. So there may be some small pharmaceutical adjustments that we're going to make along with my diet adjustments, cutting the sugar, cutting back on the dairy, and then see where things go from there. But 1 month has turned into 4+ months. And I have seen incredible improvements in all aspects of my health. There are still a few things that I'm working on, but I am definitely encouraged by this diet, and I have every intention of sticking with it for the long haul. So there you go. That is my carnivore update.